Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the M3 podcast with your host, David Sterling. My
Davis.
name is Davis. My name is Brandon Wiley. Uh, Please, if you're interested in the content of this series, which involves movies, music, TV shows, comics, games, all that kind of super fun media stuff, feel free to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcasting platform or subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching this on YouTube. Drop a like on that video, type lots of comments, make us happy for the algorithm.
Show us
And
some
yeah,
love.
we'd really appreciate it if you show us some love. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode.
Alrighty.
Boom.
Boom. Perfect. That was Brandon's first time doing an intro for the M3. I think it turned out pretty well. He kind of got my name wrong, but that's okay. Everyone gets my name wrong.
Wait, didn't I say Davis? Davis
It, it,
Sterling?
sound, it sounded like you said David.
Oh, sorry. I think I like blurred the end of like Davis Sterling into like David Sterling.
Makes sense. Okay, fair enough.
I do know your name though, I
Oh,
promise.
okay, okay. Well, no, it's just because a lot of people, like, especially like over the phone or anything like that, everyone always thinks that I'm saying David because Davis is
Oh
not
yeah,
a
yeah.
very common first name, right? Because like
Right, right, right,
it's
right.
it's be- definitely more known as a last name. So yeah, that's why. But
Do
yeah,
you ever just like elongate the S over the phone to the point where like it makes people like weirded out a bit? You're like, yes, my name is Davis.
yeah, and I'm a Slytherin. No,
Exactly.
no, I don't think I've ever done that. I think anytime people just like I said, if they say, "Oh, hi, David," I'm like, "No, Davis." I just do a quick little correction, and it's normally only thing like um I don't even know anything that I do specifically that's has to do with that, but yeah, it's normally just at work, and if I just hear like a regular conversation, I'm okay, whatever, it's not a big deal. I don't bother correcting them or anything.
Yeah, that's always like it's always an awkward thing if people like get your name wrong and then you're just like, oh, do I go through the whole thing and
Well, especially since it's not that bad. It's David to Davis. It's not like they're calling me Mike, right? It's
yeah.
so. What have you been up to the past, I guess, week or so since the last time we chatted?
Not too much, just like trying. I think I finally got my like stream set up properly with OBS because I I think I started like a month and a half ago, but I've always had like different settings every single week because it didn't quite sound right, but
You
I
know,
think I finally got it like this week. So,
the trial
yeah.
and error of making sure the audio is right and getting everything as good as possible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
lots of tweaking. But yeah, I think I finally got it so like I can like check that off the list and just focus on making the stream watchable now.
that's good
Yeah.
because like my setup that I have right now for this is
Yeah,
it's weird because I can't hear myself speak. I only
right.
hear like I hear you and I hear myself just because I just in my but I don't hear my own audio myself. So when I'm doing like a test video to test see if everything's going, I play like a YouTube video just
Yeah,
to have
yeah.
that audio for someone, and then I have my audio. So but I have to wait till it's actually played back to I know so I if I can hear myself or not. So it's so weird with this new mic, and because before I had, as I said on the previous one, I had a like a PlayStation type of headset that was connected, and I could hear myself, and it was just one setup compared to this
Oh,
now that I
okay.
have the actual mic and headset where it's just a lot different. So I know the
Yeah,
struggle.
yeah, it adds like exponential complexity with every like piece that you add to it for sure.
Yeah, exactly. More
Oh, by
things.
the way, I wanted to ask you, I don't know if like you did like something film or television related in school, right?
Yeah, that's my career that I'm trying to get into. I'm trying to become a director, DOP, cinematographer. I'm trying to actually get into that. Like, I don't know if you can see, but
Oh, nice tat.
yeah,
Oh, got like a film strip, and what else is on there? Oh, like the
the
director's what
slate.
the slate.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
and
what I'm
camera.
planning on doing is actually um, when filling this out when I actually direct something professional, like when I
Yeah,
actually get something that's if I ever become a more known director and I actually do say I direct a TV show or a film or something, I want to
Yeah.
fill this in with that movie and
Oh, the
fill.
text on the.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. Because right
that's
now
a
it's
cool
blank.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah, so this
Yeah.
is my
Yeah.
like motivation to actually keep forward for everything that I want to do because right now well, I've been graduated for not even a year yet, so and with COVID it's really hard to get into. But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so I'm just trying to find like a regular, get as much money just regular job. But yeah, my big goal is to eventually, direct like $1 million films or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
that'd be great. It not necessarily has to be like in that level, but even if I get known as like having filmmaking, TV, video as my main source of income, like yeah, that's what I want to do and get into.
For sure. And like you're not planning to like 100% fund your like first movie, are you? Because I don't know too much, but I heard like just from a coworker who also is like involved in film and stuff, but he was like, yeah, my biggest mistake was like trying to fund my own movie because it just like I guess it added up really, really fast. And
Yeah.
then like it probably gets to a point where like you have to compromise on your own vision and whatever, I assume.
Well, you have to compromise pretty much regardless, because even if you write, direct, even say act in, like or like, there's always going to be changes all the way, and either way. So if you're kind of making your own with your own money, then you have
Yeah,
to be like, oh shit, that's my own money. I'm gonna lose my car, my house, or whatever. Or
true.
or you have producers that are spending their money. They're gonna put their 2 cents in on everything because they like a producer could be like a bank manager, right? They could just be the
Oh,
person giving
okay.
you money,
Yeah.
but they have no like creative vision. They're not the type of person that's trying to get into an art field. They just know how to make the money. So, but they're like, oh,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be cool if you do X, Y, Z, right? So either way, but they're the ones that are get right. So, but no, to answer your question, no. Right now, especially, I'm trying to get more into just working on any sets and everything, and trying to learn as much as possible on hand because
Yeah.
I know schooling kind of helped me out a little bit for sure, but I definitely that like especially since it is like an art field career field, it's more about getting in and doing it and learning from people and meeting people and stuff like that. So I don't have a major idea for a major film right now, but I have small like ideas in my head here and there that I would want to put onto this channel eventually. Probably,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of something I might film probably this spring, summer, potentially to put onto
Nice.
this channel. So, and that will literally just be, 5 minute short film or something like that, just for YouTube style. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
I have no ambitions yet to get into like the films, like the circuits or anything. I still need a few more, yeah, few things to practice. I think before I will be ready for something like that.
Yeah, like some projects for your portfolio or something like that.
Yeah, I just need to experience even just working with people like um, David Barron. He's a pretty big name in the film industry in Edmonton here. I worked with him
Okay.
a few months ago on a short film, and it was really good to meet someone that has all their own gear. Like he has professional level cameras and lights and everything, and he's worked on
Nice.
like professional level sets and stuff, and that's literally what his job is he doesn't have like a 9 to 5 job or anything. It's just set to set to set. He makes X amount of money per whatever the budget may be.
Nice.
Yeah, so doing something, working with someone like him's definitely been eye opening so far, at least.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what the scene was like in Edmonton because I thought like to get I guess some more legit industry experience you might have to go to like Vancouver or something, but it's that's cool that there's like pros here too to learn from.
Yeah, it's definitely not as big. It's as I've said this a million times over it for anyone. And it's not. I'm not getting into a typical Alberta um, job scene. Like I'm not a welder or pipe fitter, fisher, farmer. Some like I'm.
You don't want to shoot a movie about a an oil-filled welder who finds true love at a bank?
It's out there. I'm sure it would get the attention of Albertans. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm not the typical Berta boy, right? So
Yeah, no,
um
I get that. I'm the same.
yeah, I think right now Calgary is actually supposed to be really good this year.
Okay.
Because of COVID and everything, like our regulations aren't as um strict, I would say, but they're still with film industry. So a lot of apparently a lot of films and stuff are coming to Calgary this year. And I keep on
Oh,
seeing posts on Facebook about it, and I'm
yeah.
not enough to move to Calgary, but probably if I can get onto a job that's filming there or something, that would be great. And then just get a cheap hostel or room or whatever for a month or 2 months, however long. That'd be amazing at this point right now, really.
Yeah. What was I didn't wasn't there like a scene of like Jumanji 2 that was shot just outside of Calgary? I think the snowmobiling scene or something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. Cause yeah, I remember the Rock and Kevin Hart were there. Yeah, I think that was Calgary. Yeah, that was I think that was that. And there are definitely a few things. Anytime a lot of like westerns, like I know what's that Samuel L. Jackson one, Hateful Eight, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
part of that was filmed in Calgary. Like anything that's set kind of like Western, because it's Calgary's has that feel. Or same thing with like getting into like a little bit of the like Banff mountain areas. It's not too far away from there
True.
compared, and it's not as expensive as Vancouver, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, but to circle all the way back to why I asked this question in the first
okay,
place,
no, 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 for
I
sure.
mainly just wanted to know, if you did much like video editing and what you use for editing your videos.
I'm definitely not the best editor. I will straight up admit that, but I use a mix of Premiere Pro and DaVinci Resolve.
Okay. Oh, they're both video editors though, aren't they?
Yeah,
Like
well,
both.
Premiere's basically like uh, because Adobe, they want you to use all their products, right?
Yeah.
So Premiere's actually one of the best video editors. Even it's industry standard actually. A lot of
Right.
movies and stuff get edited, but DaVinci's very similar like kind of layout as Premiere, but you can
Yeah.
get the free version works really well, but
Yeah.
it's not as fluid as Premiere, but you still can use it as an editor, but it's more known as a colorer. So you have your color correction more known in Premiere, but it's really good for someone like your level, my level, like YouTubers if they want really good quality editing software for free. DaVinci's a really good way to go.
Yeah, for sure. I just heard about DaVinci like I think last month or the month before, so like that's what I've been playing around with lately, and it's been like way better than iMovie, was what I was using for a while too.
Yeah.
Especially because like iMovie limits you to only I think like two video tracks, so and like images count as a video track, so
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of like very limited. But DaVinci doesn't seem to have that limit, so yeah, I really like what DaVinci offers you, especially for a free software. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
The only
Yeah.
thing is that it's well, I guess that's a good thing you have a Mac, but excuse me. Um, DaVinci is a all in one program, so it's a really big program. So you have to have a pretty decent computer. Actually, don't like the computer I had before this that I have this one. I had DaVinci and Premiere as well. I had both on that computer as well, but it just it didn't run that well. I had to put everything down to like 720p. I could barely even edit on 1080 or anything. But this computer's a lot better. So yeah, that's definitely an issue with DaVinci is that it's and I
More
guess
demanding.
yeah, it's because it's a lot bigger because it has like music edited coloring and stuff like that, and yeah, but
Yeah, that
it
makes
is a
sense.
really good thing, especially and I have no idea. I would have to look on the website, but the paid version, I'm pretty sure it's like $300 once and you have it, compared to
Yeah,
Premiere where you pay
monthly.
$50 a month. I do believe it's been a long time since I've looked at it, but yeah, you get the
Yeah,
suite with Adobe. So those are the two minor. Technically, the other program, the I didn't learn DaVinci in school. I learned Premiere, and there's Avid is a another editing software that like professional level. But
Okay. Is
um,
Avid the company name?
yeah, I do believe so. That's
Okay.
so like to what I got taught in school. Avid was like the first video editor. It's like actual digital compared to when they actually cut and snip and
Oh wow.
literally use scissors, like not scissors, but basically on film. But then now
Yeah.
Avid was the first company to come out with a computer based editing software. And
Oh wow.
I was supposed to learn that as in my final semester of school. We were supposed to learn that, and we got into I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks into the class until school got shut down with COVID and everything. So we just did our
Yeah.
final assignments on whatever editing software. So I used Shotcut because that was the free software that I had at the time.
Oh, I haven't even heard of that one.
It's not a pretty. It's like actually for a free software, it's better than iMovie. It has well, I guess I've never used iMovie, but it's with better than Movie Maker because
Yeah.
you can do like layers and music and has green screen keying and stuff. It's but
Nice.
for a free software, it's actually pretty good.
That's good. Yeah, because I was using Premiere Pro for a bit too, just before I heard of DaVinci Resolve, but then the
Mm-hmm.
cost was just adding up, and I even like did the life hack of getting the whole Adobe suite for cheaper using like a student email from like my old student days.
Yeah,
Like they don't even verify your student status. You can just put in a student email, and then you get this big discount.
yeah,
Um,
but it's
yeah, so
but
that part was nice, but it's still like month after month you're paying and it adds up.
especially I don't know about you, but with like COVID and stuff, people aren't working as much in general, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
that's true too.
like but then I think because of that like hack that type of thing, I think maybe they heard about it or what because it was like 3 months for like saving 20% or something like that for a student, but then they
Yeah.
brought it down to like a month.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What?
they yeah last the last so I was like yeah. So yeah, I'm probably gonna
Okay.
have to switch back to DaVinci too because Premiere's kind of like yeah, it's definitely hurting the bank.
Yeah, especially if like it's yeah, that you just adds a cost to your what is essentially a hobby until you can actually get paid for something you're gonna do with it.
Yeah,
And like
exactly.
in general, video editing jobs don't pay that much from what I understand, right?
You have to be really yeah you have to be good at like really good at it for sure. I anything I've seen, but because I've looked over it, it all has to say like, um, it all has to say like 1 year minimum experience and stuff with the Adobe Suite. And yeah, I'll be the first to admit I definitely was not the best editor in my class. I can think of a couple people that are definitely better than I am, and they're still probably not getting any work out of it because yeah. But editing's not my passion anyway. Filming and directing is more of what I wanted to do.
Yeah, the editing is it almost feels like the editing is more of like the necessary evil to get to where you want to go. It's just like I wish I could just shoot it all perfectly and then it's good to go, but no, you have to go in and tweak things, cut things, and shift things around. Yeah, because I was just interested out of random curiosity one day, but like this YouTuber that I watched last year, um, just posted and was like, "Oh, we're hiring a new video editor," and I looked at the pay and it was like surprisingly low. So I was like, I hope they find somebody who enjoys it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it all depends. Well, something like that. YouTube, it all depends on like the number of subscribers, how much money they're getting paid, like CPM and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
different editors make more money depending on how big the channel is. I'm guessing. Like it's the same idea as like an editor for a company that only does small product photography and videography compared to an editor for a company that shoots 10-minute commercials or something. That like it's gonna be a different level depending on what type of stuff they're doing. To my guess, basically.
yeah, yeah, true. I'm like trying to enjoy the process more because I think it's a handy skill to have and it offers you a lot of creativity. Like at least you see some YouTubers who have like really fun, clever, like exciting edits and stuff. So I think if I could learn to do those, it'd be more enjoyable. But
Yeah,
just like cutting up clips of yourself, it and like trying to seem less awkward than you actually are is not usually very fun.
Yeah, well, I've been technically trying to like YouTube make videos for technically since I was like a teenager, but I never really um, committed to it. This is probably 2020 was the first year I really wanted to really start majorly committing to it. But even just the last video I posted, there's a cut that I did that's one of my favorite cuts that I've like ever made, and it's just a simple transition, but it just flows so well you don't even notice it. Like I didn't even notice it
Oh,
when I was rewatching the video. I was like, holy
yeah.
shit. So, um, yeah, I don't know.
Fanboying
It's
over
the
your.
same as anything else in the world, right? It's just keep on practicing at it and keep on getting better, and you'll realize new things, faster ways of doing it, and yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What was the cut you made just out of? I don't think I watched it, but how
It,
can you describe it?
so literally, it's just a top down because I was doing a review of my new phone, LG Velvet, and it's top down. It's a top down video of the camera looking at my hands, and then I'm doing some gameplay, and there's a countdown of the game to start, and as it hits to one, it transitions to the actual screen of the phone, like because I did a screen recording at the same time, so it's just
Oh,
so smooth that you like it just goes right zoomed right in. Yeah, it's just
nice.
yeah, it's just a quick clip basically that I
Oh, that sounds slick.
yeah.
I'd have to check that out.
my
Yeah, that's awesome.
my channel is linked in the description below.
Yeah.
But
Subscribe for more great content.
yes, but anyway, I wanted to actually kind of that was good. That definitely was a really good conversation. There's definitely no issues with that. But I wanted to wrap it into something actually related to what we wanted to say. I wanted to talk about. Did you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier? And the Winter Soldier?
No, I heard about it and saw like a couple random clips though, but I didn't end up watching it because what it's on. Is it on Prime or what is it? What are
Disney
you?
Plus.
Disney Plus. Okay, right, that makes sense. Marvel, of course. Yeah. No, I don't have Disney Plus either, so I didn't get to watch it, unfortunately.
Ah, well,
But how did it go? Feel free to
the
like fill me in.
well, one thing I was definitely confused at for a moment because I saw a tweet from George St. Pierre about it, and I'm like, okay, maybe he's just a fan of the show, and was like, oh wait, he played a villain in Captain America: Winter Soldier.
You did?
Yeah, he played the French villain at the beginning of the movie on top of the ship. The
Oh, I missed that. Well, like I saw the movie, but I guess I just didn't realize it was George St. Pierre.
oh well, yeah, it's basically because like he has hair, but in real life he doesn't,
Yeah,
and they it's like comic book fighting, right?
not MMA.
Not MMA fighting, so it's all flashy and everything, and it's Chris Evans fighting a real fighter. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, they brought him back. I don't know how long he's gonna be in, but he's at least he was at least in in this first episode, which is interesting.
Wait, George St. Pierre was in the episode too?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was like, that's why I was confused when I first saw it. I was like, oh, that makes sense because of course, duh, he's back. But
Ah,
I have no idea if he's going to continue further on into the rest of the series, but I think
yeah.
it's only like 6 episodes long or something like that. Um, and I know
This whole
Zemo.
series is only going to be 6 episodes?
I think so. It's something like that. It's something short because they're like 42 to an hour long episodes each one
Oh, okay.
relatively.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a lot more than any actual movie, including Schneider Cut.
Including what?
The Justice League Snyder Cut, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about. It's a
Oh,
four
okay.
hour and 2 minute long movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I haven't even heard of this one,
Oh.
but
Okay, I'll go into
that's sweet
okay,
though.
but yeah. So the first episode was pretty decent. It actually had a lot of people have been talking about it because of like the connections, the few little like connections to the MCU and everything
Yeah.
of just little details and everything, which I didn't even a lot of these things because I tend to watch a lot of um, like episode recaps on YouTube and stuff like that of like things you missed or whatever,
Right.
and I tend to notice some of them that they talk about. But then this one I didn't clue into like almost any of them because I was just so in depth into the actual show.
Yeah.
So
When you're watching the episode, like, can you tell that it's a series, or is it still like MCU cinematic movie style? Like you could watch it in the theater.
um, this one it would be MCU movie style definitely because
Nice.
WandaVision wasn't it was made like specifically to be like a TV show and different quality, different things happening, um, depending on which era they were in because they said like 60s and then or 50s, 60s, 70s, 90s, 2000s basically for WandaVision.
Right, right,
So
right.
it was different style depending on each episode. But this it looks like it. I think they're filming at least part of it using the same style that they filmed um, The Mandalorian.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's just by the look of it because it looks because there's a scene where Falcon's kind of flying through like this kind of Grand Canyon esque out in like the middle of nowhere, or whatever,
Yeah.
and just how the quality of it looks makes it look like similar. Did you watch? Oh, you don't have Disney Plus. So you didn't watch Mandalorian either.
No, but I know I know about it.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
they
I'm not completely clueless, but I'm not totally clued in either.
okay, that's a way of putting it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it because they filmed Mandalorian basically like with a really high def screen, and they just projected him walking towards like the screen instead of doing a green screen and then changing afterwards.
Oh,
So Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There's a couple scenes where it looks the same. I haven't seen any of the behind the scenes of it yet, but it just looks the same kind of style.
ah. I guess that would make sense, like, because like it's ultimately the same company, so they can probably share assets or at least techniques in one way or another.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
should be no reason not to.
that's
But
cool. Oh yeah, yeah. Maybe I should just take the plunge and freaking get Disney Plus.
well, if you're a fan of like the Marvel shows, you kind of shows in an MCU and everything like that, you almost have to like. I guess you don't have to, but if you don't want to be kind of like behind when the next MCU movie comes out, you kind of have to. That's how they're making their money, right? They're making people subscribe to Disney Plus, follow up and everything, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they set up um, the Loki's show in Endgame, and then yeah, I guess technically they set up this show as well, but not really WandaVision. But yeah, they're just trying to get as much money out of possible. But I don't pay for my subscription to Disney Plus. The person I live with does, so that's
Oh,
why I'm
lucky.
yeah. Same thing with Netflix and everything. So it all depends if you want to spend the money if you follow that type of shows, those shows and everything.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the person I live with also pays for Netflix, but the person I live with is also my wife, so it's technically our both of our money.
Yeah. Plus, you need to keep up on your Korean shows or Korean.
The
Yeah.
Korean shows on Netflix. Yeah, and I don't think Disney Plus has too many of those.
No, I don't. I don't think they're gonna have anything like that. Um,
Yeah, they did have what is it, like Raya and the Lost Dragon? But I heard that they're like trying to like you don't get to watch that with your regular subscription fee, right? You
no,
have to pay extra to watch the movie.
yeah, it was just like Mulan when that launched. It was like
Oh, it was like a
premium
similar thing.
access because so instead of going to the movie theater to watch this movie, they made you buy a ticket essentially.
Do you actually get to like keep it on available forever, or is it just like you buy it for like it's like a pay-per-view one night thing
I
kind of
think
thing?
it's just a pay per view until however much time that they decide to put it on their regular rotation.
Oh, I see, I see. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel about that. Because I don't think Netflix does anything like that, as far as I know. It's just the access fee and you get everything, right?
Yeah, they have exactly. It's everything for what is it, 14 a month now?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can still rent movies like DVDs. You can get them sent to your house if you really wanted to from Netflix, technically.
Really?
But
They still do that?
yeah, I think you have to do it through the actual website though, not on like the app on the TV or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
Wow.
yeah, I think you still can. Um,
When was the last time you actually like physically held like a movie in your hands, like a DVD or anything? Okay, of course you have like a collection, but like
I'm re
all your Game of
I'm
Thrones. Yeah.
rewatching Game of Thrones, and I have all of them, the actual DVD collection. Because for some things, I actually like having the physical copy because it's if something happens to your data or whatever. For some shows that I like well enough or movies or whatever, I like actually having the physical copy.
True.
So yeah,
Yeah.
like Game of Thrones is one. I when they each season came out, I watched, and then I spent the like 55 bucks. It was flipping expensive. Could have saved my money by buying just an entire box set, but still, that was,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
whatever. That was however many years ago, 20 like 13 or whatever when the first season was. I don't remember anymore.
Oh, so you've been buying them like for each season?
Yeah, each season when they came out, the only one I didn't buy myself was season 8. That was because I my sister got it for Christmas for me.
Nice. That's a good gift to get.
Yeah, well, she asked me, "What do you want for Christmas?" I was like, "Well, Game of Thrones season 8, the only one I don't own on DVD yet." So when I
So
get to it, I'm gonna find out if it's better on DVD than it was when it actually came out.
wait, is there a difference? Like, is there extra stuff on the DVD or
Oh no, I mean different. Like I mean, because
like
there was
just quality wise or?
quality wise, yeah, because there was a lot of hate with the quality of, especially of the second and last episode, second or third last. I don't remember what it was. Um, yeah, it was called, the episode's called The Dark Knight, and it had to do with like them fighting everything in like at nighttime. But if they shot it as if it was actual nighttime, and then just you couldn't see anything. I literally switched between my computer and my TV to see if I can watch it better. But so I'm hoping DVD they changed the color correct, so it's actually better.
Oh yeah, that'd be super annoying. Like, I don't care if it's realistically at night. I want to see what the hell's happening.
Yeah, I always compare it to Lord of the Rings Two Towers because they do a nighttime battle in that movie, but it's
Yeah,
like a blue, like a navy blue color, not black, so you can actually see
yeah,
what's going on.
yeah. Rookie mistake, guys. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. But but no, yeah, I don't really. What about you? What do you have collections of movies or anything like that?
I like the reason why I ask is like I honestly don't remember the last like physical movie I like held in my hands. The only thing that I can think of is like a box set I got of like this anime called Full Metal Alchemist, like before even like the newer Full Metal Alchemist came out. So this was like
The
long,
original,
long time ago.
yeah, the
The
original,
original
not
one, yeah.
not Brotherhood.
Not Brotherhood, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So like I have like one of those seasons in like a metal tin set kind of
nice.
thing.
I still
Yeah.
have the first, almost all. I'm missing like two books that got lost during my move back to Alberta, but I have the first like 200 copies of the manga of the
Oh,
original.
sweet. Like the physical copies of the manga?
Yeah, they're still sitting up. They're a little. Some are in pretty good condition and stuff, but that was Full Metal Alchemist was the first anime slash manga I got into. I guess
Oh, yeah,
like
same actually.
as well, not well, I guess technically like Yu-Gi-Oh and Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that, Pokemon, but that was when I was more
Yeah.
of a kid. But as like a
Yeah.
teenager and like young, like that's. And then speaking about it, actually, that reminded me literally last night, just for the curiosity, because that's what what everyone's kind of doing is kind of shopping on Amazon right now because of just boredom.
Yeah.
I was looking
Yeah.
at Full Metal, My Hero Academia.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I actually
Like for some manga or what?
know for the DVD box set. They
Oh, nice.
they are my background on my computer right now. It's definitely one of my
Nice.
favorite anime, that for sure.
It definitely has like that same energy that just like pumps you up when like okay, the main character should be dead, but somehow they're not dead, and they
Yeah.
just keep getting power-ups.
Oh yeah, of course. But it's just and
Yeah,
it's the like inspirational. But it's the same thing about like comics and stuff like that. Like Deku and like Spider Man are like that same like never giving up type of mentality, or Naruto
yeah,
or whoever, right?
yeah,
Name a character in pop culture, and they probably have that same. Well, if they're a
exactly.
hero, that is.
Yeah, if they're like the protagonist in a story that involves superpowers,
Yeah,
pretty
exactly.
much.
Um,
Yeah, like Full Metal Alchemist was yeah, like the same thing for me. It was like the first thing that I like the first anime that I like consciously got into other than like seeing Dragon Ball or whatever on TV.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like I don't know, I love that series so much when it came out that like even in high school I like wrote an essay in my English class about it. And it was just probably like the nerdiest thing I've ever done in high school. But yeah, it was cool. I really like that series.
That's what about like the difference between what are the attitude between the two brothers or something like that? What are their names again? I don't remember.
Edward
Edward
and
and
Alphonse.
right.
Yeah, Ed and Al. I don't even remember what the topic of my essay was about because I was just like a bad student in general. So I probably just like it was just what I thought of and then I just decided to write whatever I was thinking. But yeah, I just
Do a
remember it
book
was about
report, and
that.
I'm gonna instead of using an actual novel, I'm gonna use this manga.
Yeah, take that, teacher.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it was good. And then I think that was the first series that I actually started reading the manga for too, because yeah, like there's two set like Brotherhood and the original one, right?
Hmm.
And the story stays the same until episode I don't know mid 20s or something, because at the time when the original was coming out, like the manga hadn't finished yet, so they just kind of like branched off and made their own random into the story with the original Fullmetal Alchemist, but then Brotherhood stays true to like the manga story the whole time.
Hmm.
Yeah. So like reading the manga and seeing the difference between like that was my first exposure to seeing like manga story being different from the actual anime story too. So it was just like it was just like a mind blowing thing for me at the time.
That's another thing that literally happened again last night for me because the anime I'm watching right now is Attack on Titan,
Mm.
and I never read the manga, so I have no idea how true the manga is or the anime is to the manga. But normally they're pretty almost episode one episode is one book or whatever or something like that. Like
Yeah.
right, it's
Yeah.
very to the point, very T. Um, but then there was a live action Attack on Titan movie.
Oh, I heard
So
about that.
I
Yeah.
had no idea because I was just because when I was watching My Hero Academia, the order went the show and then the movie and then the rest of the season, next season, and then the other movie, right? And it was still animated, but this is the
Yeah.
Attack on Titan movie, and it's live action. It's not like what we're used to for like Hollywood level, like Marvel movie, DC, whatever, super great effects and everything. But
Yeah.
it's still okay. Like it's better than like indie. I think when I looked it up, it was like equivalent to only like 13 million US or something like that. So definitely
Not
not.
nothing though. That's pretty big.
Yeah. Well, it's that's a low budget in Hollywood terms.
Okay,
but
Hollywood, yeah.
and I still watched the dubbed version, and the entire time it was bugging me because I was like, are they using the same voice actors or not? Because like some characters sounded the same, but others sounded a little different, and
Uh
they had generally the same story as the anime, but they changed up like which character died and stuff like that compared to. So they
oh,
changed the
interesting.
main premise went the same, but it was slight different ways of getting there basically. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is it's okay. You kind of definitely have to know the anime or the manga to know the movie. Like you couldn't just watch the live action movie; you would have no idea what's going on. But
Yeah, true. Yeah,
yeah,
did the movie like pick up after like a certain season or something in terms of the storyline, or was it
no, it
like
was just that. See, that's what I was saying with like My Hero Academia is that the movie is basically a continuation after the season, basically. But this
yeah.
movie was just a retelling of the first season or whatever of
Oh, I see, I
Attack on
see, I
Titan,
see.
but just
With certain things
slightly
changed.
different crossroads, but still got to the main point basically, and it was
Yeah.
yeah, live action. Maybe it was just, but the biggest thing that was a little confusing for it was the main character and the lead character and the second main character. They looked too similar to me, and it was hard to
Oh.
follow like who was not being that way, but like yeah,
No, no, but like, are you talking about like Aaron and his sister, like
no,
Mikasa,
no,
or
Aaron and
oh, like
um
the kind of the wimpy kid, right?
yeah, and whatever his name is, yeah, in the live action because he's blonde in the anime,
Yeah.
right? And it's
So he wasn't blonde in the live action.
no, it's it's almost impossible, which because yeah, you obviously know, for Asian people to have non-black hair, right? So especially
Yeah.
Is that his name? Armin? No, Armin is the main character. Um,
No, no, Aaron is the main character
Aaron
and
and
Armin
Armin.
is the wimpy guy.
Yeah,
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
You're right.
Armin is yeah. So when they're standing side by side, it was kind of hard to tell who, especially since I'm watching dubbed and I don't know any Japanese or anything like that. So it's sometimes hard to tell.
Do you prefer watching the dubbed? Like, have you ever tried like watching a sub series or movie before?
I definitely prefer dubbed over subbed because then I can just sit and just watch the show and I can just enjoy it and maybe like if I am watching it and I can just fully enjoy it and everything. Where occasionally I'll watch a sub like Dragon Ball Z Broly is only available on Netflix the subbed version, so I
Oh,
started
yeah.
watching that. I never ended up finishing it. I don't know why, but like sometimes I'll watch the subbed version, but um yeah, I like dub better just because I can just sit and actually enjoy the show and follow it, and I think it gives credits to the actors and everything still too. So no issue with
True.
that.
I think with like the anime, it's easier to watch dubbed because like they can kind of make the script suit the animated like mouth movements.
Mm-hmm.
But then like when it's dubbed live action, I always feel like I'm watching like an older like Bruce Lee movie or like an older kung fu movie with like the bad lip syncing.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, oh, I just can't do it. I'd rather just read the subs.
Yeah, I well, especially since you're learning like Korean like for your wife via
Yeah.
that whole exact scenario, right? So it totally, especially if you're trying to learn a language, right? That's a better way of doing it than dubbed. Like
Sure.
I
Yeah,
eventually
sure.
want to go to Japan. So say 5 years down the road, I plan to go to Japan. I'll start watching anime subbed like earlier that year type thing, so I can kind of pick up on a few of the terms at least.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's a good way to do it too. Yeah, because then you'll be like your ears will be used to hearing Japanese at least, even if
Mm-hmm.
you don't understand everything. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was one thing that like really threw me off. Because like you said, like Dragon Ball, like the Broly series, only available in Japanese. Like the characters that you grew up with, hearing their voice and stuff, it's so different when you're listening to it in Japanese. And the
Mm-hmm.
first time I heard it, I was just like, Goku still sounds like a little kid. I'm
Yeah.
like, what is going on?
Yeah, I know, especially full when he's like full Saiyan and everything like that. And it's because he's voiced by a woman. First of all,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh, I didn't even know that.
he same woman's voiced him the entire time in Japan. I don't know about the
Wow.
American version, but
Yeah,
yeah, um, well, random Bart Simpson's voiced by a woman too, but that's
true.
just
Yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah. So and being Canadian, North American, yeah, exactly what you just said. I think that's part of the reason why I didn't continue watching the Broly movie because it was just like, no, this is too off-putting.
True, yeah. If that's your first experience hearing like Japanese Goku, it's yeah, like it definitely took me a few tries to like actually get into watching subbed Dragon Ball just because like you're so used to hearing everyone a certain way and then they're like almost completely different. Most of the people, Vegeta's almost the same in both English and Japanese, I noticed, but Goku's completely different and that was just super off-putting the first time, but yeah.
I When I was watching Attack on Titan, speaking of Vegeta, I was like, what? One of the characters, they sound very similar. Who is that? And I was like, oh, that's All Might from My Hero Academia. Because
Oh, really?
is the same actor who plays the general in the general who's training them in Attack on Titan. And then I
Oh,
looked at
cool.
night because then I found it out. I was like, okay, oh my god, that's Vegeta. Like that's so weird that I connected to All Might before I connected to Vegeta.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like the voice acting community, especially for like dubs and even like in popular anime in general, it seems like it's pretty small. Like the same people appear in so many different series, I find.
Yeah, I've seen a few TikTok videos of voice actors, and they were like, yeah, I play this person on this show, this anime, and it's normally like a main character here and like a few side characters or something like that. But yeah, I don't know, I definitely wouldn't be able to do it. Um, like the guy who voices Bender on Futurama. He has the same kind of
Oh,
significant voice that he's known to do, but he doesn't. He does like that voice compared to some voice actors. They do a different range of voices for different characters.
yeah,
Yeah, I could never
yeah.
do it.
Yeah, like if you picture like Homer Simpson's voice, like if you hear that voice in any other series, it's probably not gonna work just because Simpsons is way too famous, right?
Yeah, well, that's like Archer. I don't remember, again, don't remember his name, but the guy who voices Archer is the same guy who voices Bob and Bob's Burgers. So Archer literally
Yeah,
kind of played off of that, and they made Archer have amnesia for the start of a season, and he's in a burger joint, and he's married. Like they recreate the entire like show
Bob
of
the Burgers
Bob's
setting and
Burgers. Yeah, for
yeah.
Archer,
Oh,
it's
that's
just literally so they like yeah, fuck it, might as well.
yeah, I may as well because like everyone, well, maybe not everyone, but I'm assuming most people notice like who've seen both series, like this is the same voice actor for
Well,
sure.
yeah, because like and they do it in Futurama too. Like there's a point when they're walking down like this castle or whatever, and Jake the dog from Adventure Time is like chained up, and Bender's having a conversation with him.
Oh, really? I don't
Yeah.
think I saw that episode.
You need to get Disney Plus because now
Ah,
because Disney they a couple weeks ago got stars, so they have like more adult content on there now as well. So
oh, okay.
so before the only like Fox stuff they really had was The Simpsons, and that was
Hmm.
basically the only thing that they really had that was specific Fox. Um, but yeah, now they have Futurama, Family Guy, other shows that are created by Fox, and they have like R rated, like Deadpool or Logan. They have that on there as well, so they have more adult content, and you just have to go through like and accept the conditions saying that this is the more adult content. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely. I think I was actually thinking this the other day. Now that there is this of the like, well, if I was paying for it, I probably would pay for Disney Plus instead of Netflix now. Actually,
Mm,
if I had to choose type thing, because which is weird. I don't think I ever would have thought of that before, but I'm watching more shows.
yeah.
Don't well, except for the fact that Netflix has anime, and that's what I'm watching a lot of my anime on.
True. Yeah, because I don't Disney Plus I don't think has any anime, right?
No,
They don't
because
have any studios that do that, right?
no, they're not gonna have anything like that.
Yeah, and I think Netflix they've been doing pretty good with like Netflix originals, but like taking famous mangas and just like funding them to turning them into animes.
Hmm.
I think they did that with like quite a few series already, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know how recent it is, but like, yeah, that's how I watched Hunter. I'm
Yeah.
the show that I was watching before we started was I think it's pronounced Haku, something like that. It's
I think I think I've seen that poster, but I don't think I've watched it
yeah, it's
on
the
Netflix.
volleyball based one,
Oh, okay,
and
okay.
I was literally laughing at myself. I'm like, okay, so they're doing kind of like how Dragon Ball would have a five. It would be like 20 episodes would be like 5 minutes in the show.
Yeah.
It's not that bad, but
Yeah.
there's definitely like there was literally a moment where they're playing volleyball. There's a moment when the ball's in the air, the guy's about to like figure out who to kind of like pass it to, and
Yeah.
it's like So it's a 20-minute. It's probably about good 5-8 minutes of the episode of him just thinking about like who should I trust, like which person, why did I get into this, and it's a whole like self-reflection of like who to play with on his own team. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, so that ball's been spinning and spinning, just in the air in the one spot
Yeah.
for so long. But yeah, that's
Wow,
just how.
what a way to create tension.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. That's what people like about anime sometimes, I guess.
Yeah, it's just like making these completely unrealistic situations possible.
Yeah, I know. I remember when I played soccer. I do remember one time where
You were about to kick the ball and then you thought about who you should pass to for 20 minutes before passing the ball.
the complete opposite actually. When the ball was coming towards me and I got hit in the face, but I remember it like every time I talk about it, the memory in my mind is I remember seeing it in slow motion.
Oh
So it
wow.
was as if time like stopped and froze and it's like slowed down before it actually hit me, but it would have actually been like that. But I remember seeing it, perceiving it slower than what it actually was. So that's a
That's
little
pretty
bit of the
cool.
same.
Yeah, I guess there is a hint of realism in that episode of Haikyuu then.
Yeah, but no, but and that's I don't know. That's some the issues with some animes that I like, but like Naruto is really bad for having like major filler episodes.
Oh, yeah, especially like the original Naruto was like what, maybe 80 or 90 episodes non-filler and then like 110 of filler.
Yeah,
It was ridiculous.
yeah, I think the original series is almost 300 episodes long,
Oh,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, because I think there was a 900 between Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. I think there was just over 900 episodes. And I remember because I was watching it on Netflix, and I skipped almost an entire season uh, of Shippuden
Oh,
because it was
yeah, 'cause
literally
like
it was
yeah,
right after he defeated Pain, and it was just as they were rebuilding the village, and it was like, oh, remember this one time? Every episode was like this
this
memory
one
that the
time at
team
band
had
camp.
type thing, and yeah,
Oh, that's the worst. I think I remember when like Shippuden started and it was supposed to be like it was so hyped because it was gonna be like the Naruto with no fillers, like all straight story because they had so much filler content already. They're like, okay, the manga's finally far enough ahead, so we don't need any fillers. But of course, it inevitably caught up and they need to do fillers anyway.
oh well, that's at least nowadays you don't have to wait like a week for the episode to come out and then just be disappointed because it's filler. If you're watching it on
True.
Netflix or Crunchyroll or whatever way you're watching it, you can be like, okay, no, I'm screwed. This is screwed. Next episode and just watch it right away.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think I've ever actually like got to that point though where I'm just like skipping because I know it's filler. I haven't picked up like one of those longer series though in a while though, so that's probably why. I
Yeah,
think most of them are just like managing the filler content a lot better these days.
yeah, yeah, exactly like My Hero. That's what I really like about My Hero is that even if it's a episode that's not as exciting, it's still something to do with character development for like the most part.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I got super into My Hero too, because was that on Crunchyroll? It was Crunchyroll, right? I think.
I think so. Yeah, the next season comes out next weekend.
Oh, right. Wait, is this season
Season
5?
5. Yeah, season 5 starts next weekend.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, I like canceled my Crunchyroll after I like finished binging all of My Hero at the time,
Yeah.
which I think was season 4. But yeah, maybe I'll start it up again to
Yeah.
watch more My Hero.
Yeah, literally it's that's why yeah, My Hero like you can get the free version of Crunchyroll, but like you try to watch anything that's popular, you can't you have to actually pay for it.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. And like one of my like close friends has like a vendetta against Crunchyroll because like way back when it started, he was part of like some group that like offered the like anime torrents for free,
Mm.
like free sub versions of anime torrent, and he said Crunchyroll started by like basically like having all these episodes downloaded for free from these different groups and then like selling it as a service. So like selling other people's work essentially.
Yeah,
So he's super bitter about Crunchyroll and how they're like actually like blowing up now. So I try to
capitalizing.
like yeah, so I try to keep quiet about my Crunchyroll subscriptions from him.
Shh.
Yeah, exactly. There's no other places to watch some of these things though, unless you want to like download it, which
Mm,
I don't know.
I am not. There is definitely ways. I'm not going to say it right now, but I will tell you later.
Yeah, that works too. I think the main thing is just like the convenience of streaming though, because like if it has an app or whatever, you just need to like pay the membership to get access to these things. Sometimes it's just like nicer to do that than download or like click through 4 pages of sketchy ads to
Yeah,
watch something.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's I tried doing with, and then it ends up being like a camera version of someone like recording from their
Yeah,
TV or something.
or like it's like mirrored to like hopefully bypass some kind of scanners or something. Yeah, it's I
Yeah,
don't know.
record. Yeah, using OBS to record it, and it just.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, I definitely know like a handful of those sites for certain, and like especially with like shows that haven't gained much popularity outside of like the country that it came from, like if it's a Japanese or a Korean series or something, like streaming services that are available to us in English like might not have those for a while, so sometimes those sites are really your only option.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I notice every time I see a YouTuber that is being they're getting paid by their things by NordVPN. It's always like, oh, I want to watch this certain show on Netflix. Oh, but they don't have it in the U.S., so I'm gonna change to
Yeah.
Sweden.
Yeah.
Like, which is actually if I was thinking about doing that for that reason because I know there's a couple shows that you can do, and you used to be able to do that on PlayStation. There was a way on PS3 that you could just change manually put in your IP address, and I did that specifically, but then they patched it with PS4.
Yeah, and Netflix has gotten like really clever about catching that too. So like even now I think it only works if you're doing it on like if you're using the VPN like on your computer. So like you can't even like do it on the TV kind of thing, or even if you like AirPlay it or stream it from your laptop to the TV, Netflix will like detect it and be like, "Oh, just use the Netflix app on the TV or whatever." But then,
Oh,
of course, the app on the TV isn't behind the VPN, so you don't have access to the same thing.
so every time they say that, it's always so I never even thought about that. It has to be specifically if you're watching it on your laptop.
Yeah, yeah. But like if you're hardwired into your TV, it'll work. But if you want to like we have an Apple TV and like a MacBook or whatever, so we can just like AirPlay it via
Mm-hmm.
Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
But the Netflix app doesn't let you do that, like because they're like, oh, you have Apple TV, just use our Apple TV app. But the Apple TV app is not behind the VPN, so you're stuck with your own country.
I think it might work with Chromecast though, but the only thing is that's
Oh, Chromecast might work, yeah.
yeah, because I know with like because I have just a regular TV, and then I watch on the PS4 sometimes, or I'll watch it in Chromecast from my phone, and I've tried Chromecasting my just my web page or something on Google, and
Yeah.
it doesn't like it will lag. It will say it's connected, but nothing shows up. So if I want to actually use my TV as my screen for my computer, I have to plug it in HDMI. But I have a plug specifically like sticking out of my TV for that reason because I do it often enough. Because it's nice to have a bigger screen sometimes when I'm watching something, but it doesn't connect
Yeah, for
properly.
sure. Yeah. You'll find a way. Yeah. So like I actually I paid for NordVPN because this was like back when like the Studio Ghibli movies were not available in Canada yet.
Oh yeah,
And we wanted to just like do a marathon of those. So we pretended we lived in France for a week to
I
watch all of those.
the, that's Totoro, right?
Yeah,
The
like Totoro and like Kiki's Delivery Service and
those are
like
the
Spirited Away and stuff.
Spirited Away. Yeah, those are the really like artsy anime. Like it's anime, but like it's not anime style. It's
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a totally different art style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have never seen any of them, but basically the only thing I know about it is from Adam Savage when he cosplayed as Totoro.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he like
Nice.
this is one of his first ones. I think it was back when he was still on MythBusters. He always did Adam Incognito. He always did an elaborate costume for Comic Con, and it was one of his
Ah,
first ones he did. He walked around and I know the premise is like you're not supposed to take the. No, he did. That's not right. It was a completely different character. Same thing, but it was No Face. I think it's called the ghost.
oh, so
No,
he was like all black with like a white mask and
yeah, but it was an
coming.
entire like the mask was the entire size of his body. I'm gonna see if I can
Oh,
find it.
wow. Okay.
Um, but yeah, and you're not supposed to take change from him or something like that.
I know there's some rule like that, but I forget because like the Studio Ghibli movies are like it's really cool and like it's like visually aesthetic and like really like a nice art style to look at and it's like kind of a nice story too, but there's always like these hidden meanings and like these things that are left unsaid that you kind of have to think more about to really appreciate the movies, I find.
Yeah,
And like that not taking things from the no face is I think is one of those because I don't remember it exactly, but yeah, it's kind of cool like just how the movies are in that way and like these kind of just unspoken connections they have throughout the whole movies. Yeah, so that's one thing I really like about those, and yeah, I
oh,
think I definitely recommend you check some out. But then I don't know which one I'd recommend to like look at first if you haven't seen any of them because like a lot of them are really good, but they're also really different. So I guess it depends on like what you're in the mood for. You can probably find one of the movies that kind of suits what you might like. So I don't know. Like Princess Mononoke is like a really good one, and it's kind of like about like the destruction of a forest and them like kind of fighting back.
okay.
Uh, yeah, and like Spirited Away is really cool. Yeah, I think Spirited Away is probably one of my favorite ones. Um, you just see like you see so many different like creatures and characters that kind of like represent different things.
I just
Yeah,
sent.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I just sent
yeah.
you the.
This is from yeah. I got your link. Yeah, that's from Spirited Away.
Yeah, that was his costume. Was one of the first times it was. Yeah, I don't know. Wasn't there one where it was. A lot of people thought that it should have been nominated for like best picture. There's because it's one of those movies, but I don't know which one. But yeah, if I had a way to watch it, I probably would watch at least one or two Studio Ghibli just to at least appreciate it because like anime is one of my. I'm starting to really get into that as an art style, just not just as a show or anything like that, but yeah, just as appreciating the art of it.
Yeah, for sure. I think uh, I I think it's available on Canadian Netflix now. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, but you might be able to look it up on Netflix and see what's available for like if you just look up Studio Ghibli.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I do. You like anything like fantasy, like knights and dragons and that type of stuff?
Yeah, of course.
Well, look up the Dragon Prince on
The
Netflix as
Dragon
well.
Prince.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's another one where it's really good art style, and I actually made a TikTok video about it, but um, because it's a really good, not just like fantasy type of show, but like with magic and dragons and stuff like that. It's that's really good. The art style is really good, and the character development is also really good. They have characters for representation, but not in a way of being like, oh, look at us, we have this character as representation. They like it's just who they are as a person. Like they have, for example, a woman who's the general um, of the like military. She's a knight, but yet she is deaf, so she communicates with sign language and everything. It's just who she are.
Oh,
It's just
interesting.
her subordinates just know like they just all learned kind of sign language just because type thing, and she's just a badass. So
Awesome.
it's a really good show. Like I can't wait until the next season. Actually, it showed up on my like recommended homepage on Netflix, it was definitely something I really liked, and it's in that same kind of anime style, like idea of like it's not Japanese, but like they're kind of definitely inspired by anime style a little bit. I think.
Yeah. Okay. Can you message me that name? Because that's like that kind of representation, not for the sake of representation, but just having that dynamic shown in a series is something I'm kind of interested in trying to incorporate into like the video game that I'm working on, like into that story. So
Mm-hmm.
that'd be really cool to check out for reference.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because like I think I touched on it last time, but yeah, the main things that I'm doing on Twitch right now is just like keeping up to date with weekly releases on Steam, and also trying like a sampling of Apple Arcade games and like free to play horrors on Steam each week, just to keep up to date with what's being done in other games and get ideas for my own game that I'm working on. So yeah, it's just kind of like oh, the Dragon Prince. Okay, that's what it is. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I'll definitely have to check that out.
yeah, it's a really good and yeah, exactly. So like, well, going on to that, when like how are you just in the process of trying to be inspired onto making games, or like have you started any coding or character development or anything like that yet, or
Yeah, like I have a lot of the brunt of my idea is still in my head. I've written out like a decent chunk of it, so I'm right now in the process of like, so just like a brief overview of the game that I want to make that I have not started making from the code side
your
yet.
concept? Yeah.
Yeah, like I have the whole concepts there. But the reason why it's hard to write out into like a coherent story is that the whole game takes place on like one continent, and the continent has five regions. But instead of just like, okay, you're starting in region one, and your story takes place from like two, three, four, five kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
like you choose which of the five you can start in, and you also choose like which one you go to next. So you effectively like have like a five factorial amount of paths you can take to get to the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was kind of racking my brain onto like how to write a story just in text form first to like base the whole thing off of.
Yeah.
But I ended up just deciding, okay, I'll just choose one path, write the story on that, and then just make changes as I need when I'm actually coding the game.
That's what I was just gonna say. Like you should. My guest suggestion is like write a story based off of. I'm just gonna use like elves for example. They in this and that's the main character. That's the story you play through, and then you beat the game as in that region or whatever. And then
Yeah,
then
yeah.
write the story as a dwarf or I don't know. You said factions, so that's what came to my mind. I don't know, no idea if that's what you're talking about, but
No, no, no,
that
yeah, but I get what you mean. And that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm just in the process of like putting that all into text right now. And also at the same time going through like a game dev course, specifically in the engine that I'm going to be using. So
mhm.
it's like multifaceted, hopefully converging to come up with a game in like a reasonable time frame.
And then do you know what you do? And once the game is made and created, and you get hype behind it, then you make 5 movies. Six. Then no,
Yeah.
6 movies. Then you have one more. So it's a final. So all 5 individual stories, and then all of them meet together, and then it's one more final movie.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. Because like I would love to like pretty much do a excuse me, pretty much do like a whole episode on like my idea for the game and how I plan to like implement these things. Because it's like I can't think of any games that do this the way that I'm thinking of doing it. So I think it'd be like an interesting thing to hash out.
Do you follow any like indie game developers on Twitter or YouTube or anything like that?
Yeah, I watch a few on YouTube, like Game Dev Unlocked is one, Thomas Brush is another one. Like they have a handful of games that they've made that are like pretty popular, and yeah, so I follow a few different indie game developers on YouTube just to like see what they're doing, and I just get inspired.
Mm-hmm.
But the things that they've done are like different from the things that I'm planning to do because all the ones I've seen are pretty much like they do 3D stuff or even the pixel art ones like
Pix-
Undertale or like Stardew Valley.
yeah.
Like those ones are super cool and super inspiring too, but like still a different style than what I'm planning to do.
There
Yeah.
there was a doc, a documentary. I think it was on Netflix. I would have to re-find it again. It might be YouTube that I'm thinking, but just for the idea of the process. You know, Super Meat Boy.
Yeah,
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 that
yeah.
in there. It's about the creator of that game and a couple other indie games that and like the process they went through of going from like idea to kind of a little bit of coding to getting it made and like getting like rejected from other big name companies to make it. So they said, "Screw it, I'm just gonna make it myself." If I remember what that's called, just for inspiration, not wise for you. Maybe you might like something like that. It's like
Yeah, for
and as
sure.
an idea of like, okay, well, yeah, as like a motivation type thing. Because myself, I like the reason why I asked if you listen to any of that stuff is like Peter McKinnon on YouTube is one of my kind of inspirations and what I'm trying to base my other channel on, and
Okay.
so I liked to. So well, I was just curious if you kind of like tie your two kind of things together, right? That's
Yeah,
one of the things
yeah,
that I do on YouTube is watch stuff that I'm intrigued on and what I'm trying to learn about, right? So
yeah,
it's a good way
definitely.
of kind of, and that's so good about like this day and age, right? You if you have something you want to learn, you can just go onto YouTube and just and learn how to do it, and then eventually do different websites and just you can learn almost anything online nowadays, and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, one thing like that's what I did when I first started getting into the game development was just pretty much do YouTube tutorials, but then like what I'm sure coding is not the only area where it has this problem, but like when you're just following along with YouTube tutorials, sometimes it's like you don't have time to really register what you're doing because you're just following along blindly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but whereas I'm taking like the official course from the Unity game engine and it's nicer because there's like written stuff too, so it's definitely helps having like multiple ways to absorb the information instead of
Yeah,
just like follow me on this video.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because and that's the thing too is that yeah, they're trying to get subs and everything like that. So they're gonna tell it in a slightly different way compared to yeah an actual class where it's taught so that you can kind of follow along and like follow a book or a PDF or whatever as well. So yeah,
Closing
we were
statements.
talking about anime and everything. What are you kind of up to since you don't have Disney Plus to be watching?
Well, it's I'm keeping up with like as many Korean dramas as I can, I guess, on Netflix. So the most recent one that I finished watching with my wife was called Uncanny Encounter. And that one almost has like a bit of a Marvel feel to it because there's superpowers involved.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's kind of like I feel like I might have mentioned this one last time, but whatever. I'll just do a brief summary on it again. So like there's kind of like these evil spirits in the world that like go into people who have like the capacity to potentially like murder somebody else and commit like heinous crimes, kind of thing like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another group of people trying to like catch the evil spirits and like send them to the afterlife so they don't keep like possessing these murderers and make them go on like mad killing sprees and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then like the people trying to stop the evil spirits, they get like their power amplified by like these other agents from the afterlife that like there's like good spirits who help them try to vanquish the evil spirits kind of thing, and yeah, so it's like that whole kind of
the the whole
setup kind of
that
deal.
the whole thing. Even though I never really watched it, I only watched the first like two or three episodes. It reminds me of Bleach.
Yeah, 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 yeah. There's lots of parallels to Bleach in that way.
Yeah.
It's not as like cool as Bleach in that like your sword has like a personality and stuff though.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But like I guess one cool thing is like when you get hit by an evil spirit, you automatically get a perm. Like it's super random, but like it's so funny because like the main character is just like this straight-haired kid, and then like the spirit flies into him all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden his hair starts going curly. Yeah, it's super random, but
Asian media.
yeah,
It's
yeah, right. They need just some cool visual factor to differentiate them,
that's
and an
hilarious.
excuse for the actors to get perms, I guess.
It's in the budget. It has to be a perm.
Yeah, exactly. It's a stylish perm though.
There
It's a
you go.
stylish perm. Yeah, and
Uh,
it's kind of cool because like once they get possessed, their physical abilities are like three times that of a regular human. So like triple strength, triple speed, whatever like
Oh,
that. And
cool.
then yeah, so like
Yeah, superhero-y, anime inspired. Like, yeah.
yeah, and it's they have to have that because like pretty much the evil spirits give the like a similar ability to the people they possess too. So it's like yeah, superheroes, supervillains kind of thing.
Is this live action or?
Yeah, it's live action, but it's based on so like Japan has a lot of series based on mangas, right?
Yeah.
But in Korea, it's they don't necessarily have mangas. They call it like webtoon because it's like they don't have a lot of. I think it's webtoon because it originally starts as like an online comic, and it's not like a physical book that they sell volumes of, from what I
Okay.
understand anyway.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like slightly different, but yeah, this series is based on a Korean webtoon, so it's like an online comic, but it's a live action show. So a lot of Korean
Okay.
dramas are kind of like the same way, like they base the stories off webtoons.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
instead,
so
okay, so yeah, instead of basing it off the manga like the anime is, it's same concept, or some like Game of Thrones is based off of a book, right?
yeah,
Same
yeah,
idea.
exactly. Yeah,
Where like you would have to, where anyone, it's anything that's based off of like something you read. Everyone, you
yeah,
always have, oh, the book was better.
yeah,
Probably have
yeah,
the
yeah, exactly.
probably has the same thing where they have to cut out because of budget or whatever. But it's still live action with like effects like that is probably quite difficult. Like look at like the Flash, for example. If you've ever watched that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's never going to be as good as the animated counterpart for something like that. But I wonder, um, is it like still decent quality, or is it like kind of cheesy looking, or
Yeah, like I think I might have touched on it a little bit last time because I remember talking about like wire fu, like wire kung
right,
fu, like
right,
visual effect. Yeah, so
yep,
like it does have a bit of that, but like the visual effects and stuff are still kind of cool. And it doesn't look too like too cheesy. Like it's still like kind of cool to watch. But then like there's definitely some like funny parts, like probably just because they had to cut corners with like special effects budgets and stuff. But
mm-hmm.
it's still watchable and still enjoyable overall.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's so bad when you're trying to do something to, especially like we were saying, of like learning a language or trying to watch something entertaining, and or as I mentioned that Attack on Titan live action, when it's like okay, I'm liking it, or as you were saying about like Goku's voice being different compared to what you're used to. It's like
Yeah,
it's good enough, I guess, but it's not what you're used to. But it's good that at least this still has a good amount of media behind him, about a decent budget to kind of make it like. I was gonna say worthy, but that doesn't sound like the right word. Worth it.
watchable,
Worth it.
worth
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Like it still needs to have a budget to like make people want to watch it. And if it's a Netflix series, like I assume that they're like given adequate resources to make something okay at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whereas like different story, of course, is if it's like an independent thing. Like this isn't the Korean drama version of like The Room or anything like that. So yeah,
But yeah, I don't
yeah,
know, and
it's
it's
good.
still higher budget than anything I've ever worked on, because anything I've worked on has been zero.
Yeah, you mean you don't have a spare 8 million lying around you can just put into your own movie?
Nah, not quite yet. But
Yeah, you just
that's why a lot of like not a lot, but like some people like some director or some actors, they like to put their own money and just make their own thing, because then they don't have to worry about it because they make the money. And yeah.
yeah, that's kind of like I think why there's been such a rise in like indie game developers over the past few years too. Yeah, because like okay, I'm totally going on a tangent again. Sorry, but like I'll just quickly go through this. The two main game engines that like were previously restricted to like AAA studios and stuff and cost thousands and thousands of dollars every year to use
Yeah.
became free like a few years ago.
Yeah.
So it just kind of like opened the floodgates for everyone to use these professional tools for free. And so there's been a huge increase in like indie developers over that time.
Yeah. Unreal and what's the
Unreal and Unity.
and
Yeah.
Unity. Yeah, I've heard of both those, and now even filmmakers are using Unreal
Yeah,
Engine.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, like uh Yeah, because even in Unity, they're in some of like the course material, they're showing like samples of people making animated movies and stuff. Because like, yeah, you can do all that basically. If you have like rigged 3D models and whatever, you can just import them and shoot your movies.
Yeah, exactly. You use you use Unreal and like Blender or Maya or something, and you can make an entire
Exactly.
short film using just those programs. And it's still not 100% cinema quality, but it's better than just kind of shooting a handheld or on yourself. Like, so it gives a reason for someone like me that's trying to get into filmmaking to still learn those programs.
Exactly, yeah. Because
Or
then
just hire or
if
just
you're
hire
able to
you to
do
do it.
3D. Yeah, that too. I think even you know the movie Big Hero 6, like the
Yes.
Disney movie. Yeah, I think they even did like a partnership with Unity and like made some like short series based on Big Hero 6, all in like the Unity game engine too.
Oh, really? Yeah, because there is the Big Hero 6 show as well. It's just like it's lower quality than the movie, just like the Lilo and Stitch show, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, anytime they do the movie and then they do the show where it's kind of episodic, it's lower quality. But yeah, I didn't know it was done in Unreal.
Yeah, I think uh, I'm pretty sure um it, Unity did the partnership with Big Hero. Yeah,
Oh,
Baymax
Unity.
Dreams, they call it. 3 short films based on Big Hero 6.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
that was done in Unity,
Okay.
Baymax Dream. Yeah. But I know Unreal does like a lot too, because those are like the two big ones. Like they're like the Coke and Pepsi of like 3D engines.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Well, cool.
yeah. So yeah, total tangent, but it's just yeah,
No,
it
no,
just
it's still a tangent. At least it's a tangent on topic still, not like a tangent on the government or something. Like at least it
yeah,
still has to do with what we're talking about, so definitely no issue there. But
yeah.
yeah, I think that's where we will call it. Here, actually, let's get you going. I'll let you do the outro as well too. You heard mine last time. You know how to do a YouTube outro. You make videos.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, for sure.
let's hear your outro too.
All right, that brings us to a wrap on another episode of the M3 podcast with Davis Sterling and Brandon Wiley. So thanks for tuning in. If you're listening to the podcast, don't forget to rate the podcast and leave a review and subscribe to the podcast. On YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and like the video if you enjoyed this, and come back for more next time.
Thank you guys. Talk to you later.
See ya.